you guys connect. That would be an interesting conversation. I'd like to get Gideon on too, because we've been talking so much about, like, part of the conversation I wanted to talk about tonight. I keep saying tonight, thinking it's 8:00 at night. Was the Tucker Rogan thing?
Yeah.
And just Tucker on evolution, right? And it's like Gideon's one of the people he was on Frad. He debated Jimmy Akin. Like, some of the things Jimmy Akin's last performance on Frad was so ridiculous.
I saw them clips. It was crazy.
So ridiculous. Like, it's just talking about aliens getting stigmata and all that. And when I had Trent on, I made a joke of it, and I was like, you're coming down on me and Taylor for the moon landing stuff, but like, that's like, all right, I don't trust my government.
Yeah.
But where Jimmy Akin's going is like, this is just so insane. Like, you think that's not going to turn off Protestant converts or atheist converts? Like, that stuff is so nuts, some of the things he talks. And I just see this inescapable link between, like, the conversation with Rogan on evolution. I didn't clip it good enough. So I think we should save it for maybe a local segment, because to really go through it, you see Joe Rogan's logic. He's like, Joe Rogan's logic is, if evolution is real, humanity's not that important.
Yeah.
And the whole debate between Rogan and Tucker is, Tucker's like, no, human beings are important and God did create us. And if evolution inevitably leads to this, you're not that important. You're kind of just, we found a way. It's a story that they told for the creation of life. And it always links to aliens, because if evolution happened here, it happened elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it just, people that say it wouldn't contradict my Catholic faith, you're not really thinking about your Catholic faith. I'm sorry.
1,000.
Like, it doesn't make sense. That would mean God created creatures that have intellect and reason, and they're not in his image. It just, I'm sorry, it does contradict the Catholic faith.
Yeah, no, that's really, really wacky. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because it is interesting.
All right, so I have clips. If you want, let's play the clips.
Yeah, we do. I got at least like 40 more minutes or something, so we're good.
Okay. Let me see. I don't know what. Oh wait. I don't know what order these are in, so you guys will just have to bear with me for a second. But we'll try. I think this is the right one. Let's see.
Is there any sound on your end, Anthony? Because I don't hear any sound on my end, so I'm wondering if the audience.
Oh, you don't hear it?
Yeah, not on my end. So I'm wondering, can the audience? Can you guys hear it?
Yeah, guys, can you hear that? Can't hear it. Oh man, without Rob, I hear it totally on my end. What is going on?
You can just tell us what he says.
No, this is a good clip. I want to. Why did Let me see. How's the volume up?
Yeah, I think it's probably just going through an output, like straight to you or something like that.
Huh. Man, I knew Rob was important, but I didn't realize how important.
We didn't know why Rob was important until this.
But you know what I can do? I can play it from my phone.
That's all. Do it that way. I was about to say.
Yeah, I'll play it from my phone. All right, let's remove that. All right. Technical difficulty. Guys, my Gen Z tech guy's not here. I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's go.
How can that be good? Well, if God creates everything, if God created the universe and God creates people, God probably creates a process. And we think that we are very important because we are very important to us. But are we very important in a universal sense? Not really. Like, if the Earth just imploded and disappeared, if the sun went supernova and our whole solar system was blown to bits, the universe still exists.
It depends how wide.
So do you hear just the implicit logic behind evolution is humans aren't. I mean, if God created this process, and that's theistic evolution, Joe's talking. Well, if God created this process, it's just, humans are just like the transhumanism thing, the alien thing, they're all very connected, man. It's like you can't escape it. Let me see what other clips I got here.
Yeah. Oh man, it's such a depressing worldview. it reminds me of whenever I was younger, first getting into this debate, and it made me ask, I heard someone state this very succinctly and wisely. You can't get mad, for instance, at like, say, school shooters or crazy people doing evil actions if you actually beat into their ideas, into their brain for years and years and years that you're no better than monkeys. Why would you be surprised that people act like baboons and apes if you've been telling them that they're apes for forever? You know what I'm saying? And so it's one of those things where people are looking for some type of transcendental reality outside of God, like whether that's aliens or whatever, right? For meaning and for like an explanation to everything, also that they can justify their immoral behavior. Because what's implicit behind Rogan's statement? This whole depressed worldview, it all goes back to the reality of, I don't want to believe in God because if God does exist, then he has laws and I have to obey those laws. And if I don't, I'm in trouble. That's the implicit thing that's behind all of
them. The thing I wish guys would push back on a guy like Rogan with is, okay, Joe, besides the pelvic issues,
exactly,
what about Christianity? What do you think Christianity got wrong, morally speaking? Besides, I want to just go and sleep with whoever I want to sleep with. I want to be able to watch this on the internet and not be. It's all about them not wanting to be held responsible for their actions with sex. I mean, that's all it comes down to. It's all of it. It's always that. Like, nobody's telling you, well, the golden rule is morally wrong. Nobody's telling you that, honor your father and mother is wrong. Nobody's telling you that don't steal, don't covet, all those things. Like, go through the 10 Commandments with me. Tell me which one of these is wrong. And the only ones they'll talk about are the 6th and 9th.
Exactly. 100%. And that's why at the end of the day, there's two religions, purity or impurity. That's all that there is.
That's it.
Because every single issue, whether it's the atheist group, the abortion group, the rainbow movement, the sexual, promiscuity realm of revolution, all of it, Marxism, communism, etc. It's all just one big explanation of, I have these desires. I want to engage in these desires. And who are you to tell me I can't engage in these desires? That's all.
So many people don't realize that Our Lady's ever virginity, like her perpetual virginity, is so intertwined with this. Yes. So I had a Catholic ask me the other day. He asked everybody. He was like, is there some reason that the Catholic faith needs Mary to be a perpetual virgin? Like, if she did have other siblings, is there a problem with that? So all you have to do is look at the fruits of any Christian denomination that doesn't hold Mary's perpetual virginity and look at what they produce, right? So you look at even the church in the East and the church in the West. Look at the monastic movements that come out of that, right? Because Mary's perpetual virginity has something to do so intertwined with purity. It's not that sex is dirty, it's that there's something set apart about Our Lady and she's pure. So it led entire groups of people going off to live these lives of purity, and it leads to this insane depth of prayer that comes out of both traditions, East and West. You get this deep prayer that comes out. Then you look at the Protestants who don't hold to Mary's perpetual virginity, and you get nothing like that. You get this shallow, once saved, always saved, this faith alone stuff. You don't get any kind of a depth of a spiritual life without Our Lady's perpetual virginity. It's very intertwined there. Like, just the symbolism alone of what Our Lady's perpetual virginity is.
Yeah, no, that's a profound statement. It reminds me, actually, so on the Meaning of Catholic Monday morning show, we've shifted the show now to being kind of answering the objections of Muslims and Islam. And one of the big things that we're talking about, and we're going to talk about way more in the future, and we're going to have definitely some episodes that are going to be off of YouTube. So if you guys really want, hit me up and I'll send you guys links and stuff if you want to. Private
stuff. Rob is at work, for anybody wondering where Rob is.
I know, RIP. But when you look as an example at Islam falls right in step when it comes to Marxism and everything we've talked about when it comes to this, because Islam exteriorly, people think, oh, modest religion, right? You got women covered head to toe, men are covered up themselves, right? It's this very like modest, sacred looking religion. But then you actually go down and you read and you're like, oh, by the way, so according to the Quran and the Hadith, every single male when he dies, right, if you will, and he's righteous before Allah, every single male will get at least 2 wives when he goes into paradise. These 2 wives, according to the discussions in the Quran, will have lovely eyes, large breasts, and will be faithful to their husbands and will be perpetual, if you will, virgins. Their virginity will always grow back. For even more holy men, they'll be able to have 72 virgins.
Yeah.
And if you look into the Arabic, what does 72 mean? 72 is a euphemistic term that means infinite. So what Muhammad made is he made his religion a religion of heaven is this massive orgy. Heaven is this massive sexual party. You look at his life. He says that men are allowed to have up to 4 wives, but yet he automatically has 12. Nothing suspicious there, right? And many are underage. All these movements, right, whether you go back to what you're talking about, they deny Our Lady's perpetual virginity. And this is why St. Thomas roasts Muhammad in the Summa Contra Gentiles. He's like, oh, wow, Christ promises, right, suffering, right, and death, but a crown of glory hereafter. Muhammad promises carnal desires and moral carnal desires.
Yeah.
That's all you
Yeah,
get.
where a Catholic would see that union of husband and wife as just like a hint of the ecstasy of heaven, of the ecstasy of the beatific vision, but it's not carnal. It's not about having like the union of husband and wife is just that ecstasy is a hint of what eternity will be. I got another clip or two.
Yeah.
See, guys, we normally would bring this over to locals and do this in locals. We're not going to do that, but if you guys can, please go and subscribe to our locals. We're going to do one on Friday.
Anthony
I don't know what
needs
we're talking
to
about
speak
Friday.
New York, so please donate.
Yeah, desperately. Let's see what this clip is. Hang on.
That cares about you, you're important to the people
But
around you.
if we don't think people are important, then what do we think is important? I guess that's what I'm saying.
Not necessarily that we don't think people are important, but if evolution is real, and if there is this
Is it real?
constant, I don't know, but it's visible. Like you can measure it in certain animals.
You can measure adaptation.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence that in fact, I think we've kind of given up on the idea of evolution. The theory of evolution as articulated by Darwin is like kind of not true. Right?
In what sense?
Well, in the most basics.
So I love that clip because that's kind of, I mean, I had an interaction with Dave Gordon recently. I've had like the idea that thinking evolution is absurd is not some Protestant fundamentalist idea.
100%.
It's just not. It's like people should question this whole idea because what is evolution other than an attempt to explain the origins of life? It's what it is. It's like we all developed from this single-celled organism. If you ever watch one of those nature documentaries where it tries to explain the evolution of life on Earth, it is such nonsense. Like I tried to watch one recently just to like get it, and I was just dumbfounded at how ridiculously stupid it is, and how people will watch something like that and accept it on faith.
Yeah, exactly.
Accept it on faith because it's coming from the new high priest of the science community. It's so nuts. This is the new religion, and you have some scientists coming and delivering it. These are the new priests, and they're giving you the creation story. And it's just, I hate watching modern Catholics just uncritically accept this ridiculous story.
Yeah, 100%. And what's interesting to me is, like a lot of those documentaries, when they leave the realm of evolution, they're cool documentaries, right? They're shot mostly pretty cool and things like that. But all of those guys, all those scientists will admit, oh yeah, someone had to make this beautiful documentary. Oh, but nothing created the world. Just wild takes. And that's why when you get back to just the basics of the evolutionary theory, and you're like, okay, so you're telling me that all of the observable universe is contained in, a piece of matter, if you will, smaller than a period on a page. And then out of just nowhere, it's triggered to all the observable universe. Okay, well, if that's the case, what sets it off? Right? Every cause, every cause has to produce a great result. The great result is everything. Then what is that cause? So to me, I don't understand why, again, the only reason that they don't want to believe in God is because of pelvic issues. Because like we could easily say like, hey, sure, like, okay, I can understand the idea of nothing, right, being produced and then there's everything, right? But you need something first, and that's God, right? I get that. I believe in that. Makes sense. Makes philosophical, consistent. But yeah, you don't want to accept it because at the end of the day, you don't want to get married, or you want to keep watching porn, or you want to hook up with another dude as a dude, right? That's the only real reason why.
It always does eventually come and boil down to that.
Because they say, notice that they say, well, don't you see, Anthony? Like animals engage in homosexuality, therefore it's natural.
It's crazy. It's, oh man, I'm really, I just, the idea that all of these things are connected though has really come into focus for me. The alien thing, the transhumanism thing, the like all of it. It's just they're so connected. The shot during the thing in 2020, like all of it, like they're all just this new religion. And when Catholics just go and act like it's theistic evolution and just like they're not even offering a counter process. They're just going, oh, don't deny the sign. You just sound stupid when you deny the sign. It's like you're not giving me a rational, coherent way to understand theistic evolution. Even like I get that natural selection happens, but even if you read E. Michael Jones's book Logos Rising, he really rips evolution. Like I think that was the downfall of evolution for me, because he's like, okay, so you have this single-celled organism. Like, how does an eye develop? Like what, you have these light sensitive cells? Like, how does that become an eye? It's ridiculous for nature to select something that doesn't exist. You have a single-celled organism. How does nature select something else from that single-celled organism? There's no way for nature to naturally select something that doesn't exist. It's incoherent. It makes no sense. It also shows like a purpose at hand, as if like the single-celled organism, like the inevitable outcome would eventually be something conscious that can observe the universe and be aware of itself. The idea that the universe created something that would be aware of the universe is so preposterous.
It's so insane too, because every single society is religious in some form or fashion. They're all religious. We all have this desire. Like one thing that the modernists got right is that they correctly observe that we all have this God-sized hole in our heart, right? That wasn't unique to the modernists, right? They would call it like your religious sentiments. Everyone has these religious sentiments. The question is, the problem with them though, is they don't give you a good answer. The Catholic says, hey, when we observe the universe, we see that everything is ordered towards something. An eye is ordered to sight, an ear is ordered to hearing, right? Everything's ordered for something. And yet we all desire religion all across the world. And we all
see that now more than you've ever seen it before, because the new atheist movement is falling apart. Even that new atheist movement got wrapped up with the woke religion. So they were infighting amongst each other. You see religion everywhere now, and people that are paying attention see it. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. There's something about when you take religion away from people, you can't just exist as some kind of a moral society that exists on reason and logic alone. No, religion is innate. Like there's something innate about every human being that needs to know where they came from, and that worship, dude, like God made us homo liturgicus, like homo liturgicus. There's something about liturgy. Even when you watch the riots in 2020, like the kissing of the feet and the like, this is all religious symbolism. All of it. You see George Floyd with a halo over his head. None of this is by accident. This is all just this inescapable truth that religion is innate in humanity, and God made us that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why when you see, like you mentioned the riots, you see everyone kneeling. Everyone's doing physical gestures, right? Trying to engage in some type of bodily action. And ultimately,
it's very incarnational and Catholic. It's like ironically, right?
1000%. And that's what's so crazy, because these individuals, it's like, I love St. Paul's analogy when he says that it's like we're running a race. Every single person can relate with what I'm about to say, but I think especially dudes, like we all feel like we're running this race. Like we have this goal that we want to reach. Maybe we can't even put it into articulate words, but we know that we want to have some type of mission and have a point in our life where we say it was done, or like we've reached the goal. Atheism can't give you that because it says you're an accident by chance and that there is no ultimate purpose to life aside from what you decide to assign to it. And again, this is why people are going to fall back into pelvic issues. Or when you look at something like Woodstock, right? You see all of these revolutions, whether it's Woodstock or 2020, etc., they all are revolving around, I have the power to create, right? I want to be the one who creates and brings life into this world. I am the one who wants to be in charge of this. And ultimately what it is it's satanic domination of I am God. That's what man wants when he's not submitting to God.
Yeah.
He wants to.
Yeah. It goes back to that comment earlier. Every atheist is carrying around the dead corpse of the God he says he doesn't believe in. You know, it's like, it's just, religion is inevitable. And homo liturgicus just means man who was made to worship. Like, God made us that way. So my battery on my computer is dying. Battery is low. You should plug in your device. I don't know why it's not plugged in. I thought it was. But all right, this is a good place to wrap up. Nick, it's always fun talking with you. What are you doing? Oh man, we gotta figure out what we're doing Friday. We have no guests. Are you free Friday or?
Yeah, I'm free Friday.
All right, so we'll probably get you back on Friday. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about. And yeah, guys, please go subscribe to our locals. I know, look, we try to do things differently than every other Catholic channel out there. We probably try to just have like different kinds of conversations. I don't know. I mean, a lot of guys are trying to do different things, I guess. But if you guys enjoy us, please go support us. It's $5 a month. It's a cup of coffee these days. you go to 7-Eleven.
1 gallon of gas these days.
It really is. It's crazy how much everything costs. So if you could throw $5 a month our way, it would be greatly appreciated. And we will see you guys on Friday. Let me see if I can find an outro song. Man, I hate not having Rob here, man. Let me see. What do we got here? Yeah, we went with the off the rails intro because I figured this whole show would be off the rails, but I think it was actually better than I thought it would. You know, I thought it would be a little more chaotic, but I don't know. I don't see an outro. Usually we go with, all right, we can go with this. All right, guys, we will see you on Friday.
This goes out to all you men out there who are inclined to submit yourself to the lowest faculties in the most pathetic manner. You effeminate man think you were created in order to consume endless amount of pleasure without any consequences? Put your damn video games and smartphones down and pick up something heavy. Do something arduous for once. Pray daily. Submit yourself under the interior discipline. Learn a trade. Buy some land. Get married and have lots of kids so that may you one day raise a generation of virtuous